Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us this month for another book discussion and review. You've seen the thumbnail, so you know what we're talking about. None other than Practical Magic, the book that inspired the movie, right? And if you haven't read the book and you haven't seen the movie, you can pause to read the synopsis. I have it for you right here because I came prepared this month. Um, but essentially, it's the story of magical women in Massachusetts and things that happened in their lives. Now, this was my pick for this month. I kind of wanted to talk about, so like I was feeling in a cozy mood. I wanted to read something cozy, and I said, okay. I recently saw the movie for the first time last year.
Oh,
But I just saw for the first time ever last year on YouTube for free. You free with ads. And I really enjoyed it. And it's such a cult classic. And because the second movie is coming out, I kind of wanted to like read the source material. So I have a couple treats, aka the cast list for the sequel, if you guys would like to take a look at that. But first, let's I guess talk about our spoiler-free rating of the book, and we'll get into the spoiler talk after that as usual. So anyone would like to go first?
I'll go real quick.
Okay.
I'll talk about a couple of my likes. So something about the writing style of this author, Alice Hoffman, I believe, really connects with me. She has a way with words. She's extremely descriptive. Which I do appreciate. It really helps me envision what's going on in the setting and the people, and it gives me a familiarity with the characters that I feel like is lost on some more modern authors. And then this story in particular, with discussing this different groups of sisters, really made an impression on me. I love a good familial exploration and a kind of delving into an interesting and complex family dynamic, which we get into a lot in this book. And just, I don't know, something about the exploration of sisterhood in general, I can really connect with. I have two sisters myself, and my relationships with both of them are vastly different, but they still feel very deep and rich, and I felt that in the description of these sisterhoods. And then I want to say that although there were a lot of moments that weren't necessarily a part of the main plot, somehow I feel like the author used these different side stories to connect into the main plot in a very meaningful way. And so it didn't feel laborious to branch off the main plot to get into why a main character thinks this way, or some adventure they had when they were children, and this is what, this is the impression it made on them forever. Like, this is like how they experience life because this thing happened to them. And so I really like that. I really, really connected with the book in that way. And then a few of my dislikes, I guess, if I'm being honest, I didn't have very many. I want to say I could have had a little bit more of some characters.
Okay.
And I think that,
like Antonia, because I felt like she disappeared for like a good portion of the book.
I would say definitely Antonia, but I want to know more about Maria, I think. Like we
Mm-hmm.
got that one pivotal moment of her story. But then like even the I don't want to give a spoiler, but how she gets incorporated into the main plot, I love that, and I wanted to kind of explore the magic behind that. I think would have
Okay.
been cool. Um, and that's it. I don't anything I say. I feel like it will give away too much from the story. But for my oh goodness,
Your star rating.
for my rating, I'm gonna give this a 4.6.
Oh, that's almost a 5 star.
Yeah, this is really high for me. I really enjoyed it. I couldn't put it down partially because of timing, but I also didn't want to put it down. Like I was half asleep, keeping myself awake because I wanted to know what was going to happen next, even though it wasn't like it was like a super fast paced story, but it just really drew me in. Something about it just really took me in, and like I want to go to those neighborhoods. Although I'm sure I'd be the only Black person there, it does still feel like a place that I would have a good time at. Felt like easy country living, and yeah.
All right. Very nice. Raven, would you like to go? Or would you like me to go?
Yeah, I can go because what
Okay.
Aaron said is why I really liked the book. So it was like I was not really sure. Thank you so much. This my son he just gave me some cards. He's
Oh,
sending us lots of love. These are love cards.
oh,
Um
thank you.
the setting, and I'm super into witchy material and stuff like that. Like I like spooky stuff and I love a cozy read. I wasn't sure how I would connect with the characters because I knew it's like what you said, like there's not going to be many of us there. I did not think that we would appear in the story or anything like that. And so sometimes like when you're reading stories like without much representation in that way, it can be hard. It can feel like even when the plot is good, it can feel like but the way that Alice Hoffman described the characters made me feel like I could really connect with them. I could connect with feeling like um the sister who was like wanting to get away from the aunts really bad. Also, the sister who wanted to have some stability, and because the way she described it is just like you could really empathize with all the characters. So I loved that. And I didn't think that there was any part of the plot that should have been left out. I did feel the same thing, that I was like looking for more. I wanted to hear more. I wanted to learn more, especially when it got to the ending. I like and things started to tie together for the family. I was left wanting more. Like, I want to see what happens next. Of course, after that, I was like looking up reviews to see did anybody else say, like, I was looking for more. And then I found that there's a sequel. So then I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that's why like there's something left. So in that way, I would have given it a 4.7, but because I know that like there's a sequel after, I'm like 5 stars, 5 stars.
Ooh, a firm 5. Look at that.
I
Look at
love this
that.
book so much. She did a good job.
Okay. All right. The ladies are loving it. All right. So now, I also enjoyed the book. I liked that it was just so much about, I guess, feminine intuition and superstition and womanhood and things like that. It definitely drew me in because of it. I enjoyed, like you all mentioned, the writing style. I think like this third person perspective. I don't think writers do that as much. I feel like it's a lot of first person nowadays. And then there'll be like a lot of multiple perspectives of first person. Like you'll have, the lead character girl's perspective, and then we'll hop over to the lead character boy's perspective, but not so much third person. I really liked the setting as well. I liked that it was so cozy, and this little town kind of felt like, a la Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Star Hollow or something. I was surprised to find so many differences from the book and the movie. It felt like the movie took a lot of liberties, I would say, with the plot. So I was surprised that that was the case, but I still very much enjoyed this book. And I am going to give, I don't know if I want to get, I'm going to give it a 4-star, a good 4, strong
Us?
4-star.
Conservative. You know you like
I know
it.
I will say the only
stingy.
thing I thought could have been done better was the ending, how like things were kind of like wrapped up so like bow tight and quick. I was like, I don't know about this ending all the way, but all in all, is a very much a strong 4 for me. But with that being said, we are getting into everyone's favorite time of the day, which is spoiler time. Okay, so ladies, who, in your opinion, was the most unbearable character, and why was it Sally?
Ah!
Because I could stand Sally for a long time. She's
Okay,
a
so
wet blanket.
I think part of it also is that she's the straight man, right? Like,
Yeah,
or is it the straight man
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
someone's goofball, hijinks driven plot
Yeah.
device,
Yeah.
whatever. And so there is a part of me that's supposed to be like, God, she's got something
Yeah.
up her ass. But, you know, when you have a crazy sibling, it's almost hard not to get like automatically be pigeonholed into that behaviorally anyway.
But there was a lot of things that Sally did that was like when she ran to the detective to basically snitch on Jillian, like,
Oh, that
like,
sent
girl,
me.
That was insane.
I was
yes,
like, she was actually lucky that the detective was like interested in her
Yeah.
feminine wiles
right,
because she was
Yeah.
straight up. I'm like, now girl, hold it together.
That was
Y'all made it this
crazy.
far. He clearly, you can tell, like you could tell in the first conversation or interrogation or whatever, that he
uh-huh.
knew what had happened basically to an extent, and he still walked out of that house.
Uh-huh.
So that means that like you're off the hook to an extent. Just
But
let it go.
Sally couldn't wait to
She
snitch
couldn't
on
handle it, and I'm
Jillian.
like,
She
get a
had to see
backbone,
it.
Sally. Come on, because
No,
you helped
Sally's
her.
so jealous. Sally's just jealous of her sister. That's what it was always given, in my opinion. She's always been a little bit jealous of Jillian and the attention that Jillian gets from men and her child-free life. You know, she felt like kind of jealous of that. And like her beauty, you know, I feel like Sally always gave a little jealous.
I
But
received that, but I receive it. I will say, yes, there was some jealousy, but there was definitely like some protectiveness over Jillian. And I think coupled with the fact that she definitely wanted to see Gary again, I think she really thought she could use her controlling nature to control the narrative
uh-huh.
of his investigation. I don't think that it was to
She's
throw a wrench, because she would have been in trouble
yeah.
behind that.
Yeah.
I truly think that she thought that she just had it. And I mean, ultimately she was right, but she thought that her natural controlling ways would be able to, I don't know, sway him. And I mean, I guess in some ways she was right, but mostly he just was in love with her, and he knew the man, so
Yeah.
he knew that that man was garbage.
Yeah.
And I have to say, because Raven, we read a book a couple months ago called My Sister the Serial Killer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I love that book.
Okay, good,
Okay.
good. So I for a second was able to compare these relationships, because they were
Mhm.
very similar, for at least for this situation that Jillian put Sally in.
Mhm.
And Sally did not give anything that the main character from My Sister the Serial Killer gave. Like
No.
that sister was jealous.
Yeah.
That
Uh-huh.
sister
Yeah.
was protective, but that sister was very jealous.
Mhm.
And Sally just gives like not that to that level. Like, yeah, there was envy there, but I don't think that that was a thing that drove her as much. And maybe it's because we didn't get the benefit of an internal dialogue for Sally, but
Mm.
I just really didn't feel that. I did feel their sisterly connection more than anything.
Okay, I will give you that. There's definitely some protectiveness, some sisterly, thing there. But if some of it was giving and the way she was basically trying to like slut shame Jillian all the time, but then she was ready to put it on the damn detective in the car with
Yes.
the chicken juice box smells and everything. I'm like, girl.
Mhm. That made me
Okay,
want
so
to
that
take
made
my
me.
offense.
That's what made me feel. I didn't think Sally was the most insufferable character. I thought her oldest daughter was the one that was
Antonia,
the
Antonia,
most. Antonia.
yeah.
I was like, okay, why are you being so
the
awful to your
diva.
sister? But
Hmm.
I thought
The
that
D.
Sally was there were times where she definitely was like holding herself in handcuffs. So
Uh-huh.
like the thing with the way she talks about Jillian, that like, Jillian's always running off with like some man or whatever, and it's like you
Mhm,
said, she was like ready to put it on the detective, right then and there. But
mhm,
also there was like this passage that described her like growing up. She also, I mean, even though they both were ostracized by other kids, there was like this passage that said that like men still think about their time with Sally, their kisses, her
uh-huh.
kisses and
Yeah.
everything. And I'm like, so you also though were at least having a
Mhm.
little bit of fun and we're out here. She might have been very calculated though. But
Mhm,
she definitely clearly was like beautiful and got interest from people.
mhm.
And the aunts also, the aunts still treated her, they didn't treat them with as much favoritism, I think, as Sally treated her kids. Sally and Jillian treated her kids. So I was
Mm,
like, I can't even say that like the aunts have set you up that way. I think that it's just when Sally started to become like fearful and insecure, then she started to hide those parts of herself that were very similar to Jillian. I mean,
okay.
she also is like fun and is also beautiful and also was a teeny bit carefree to an extent and then just wouldn't let that out. So it made me feel like I didn't feel that she was like jealous per se of Jillian's traits, but more so jealous of Jillian's freedom. But then at the same time, I was like, Sally, you can be free too, because at the end of the day, you do have another adult woman in the house right now, and you have
Yeah.
some powers. That was the thing
Yeah.
that got me too. It's like, you are really fighting this thing with your aunts when really just learn their
Yeah.
ways, like learn the
Right.
recipes
Hmm.
and do the, you know what I'm saying? Because if you want, you would think that somebody who wants to have so much control would try to learn their spells and their brews and everything else. But she
Hmm.
was just like, no, no, no. Like, but
Uh-huh.
then you want to control everything.
See,
Um,
that's what I was confused about a little bit in the book because in the movie it made it seem like Sally was like the powerful one, right? She had
yeah,
the most potential and abilities. But in the book, oh, so we had the what was the other daughter's name? Not Antonia, but
the younger
Kylie,
daughter.
Kylie, right?
Yes,
She clearly had she has the sight, right? She can
yes.
foresee things. We have Jillian who has some sort of glamour magic, clearly.
Mhm.
I feel like the aunts, they have hex magic, love spells, things like that. But Sally, what was Sally's? It was unclear. Like, did she have any powers? Did it skip over her? Did she have some sort of like dormant ability? Because
I
that wasn't.
bet you it was dormant because I don't know if she was just so resistant to what the aunts were trying to get her to learn. It makes me think that, yeah, she could have had something, but she just wouldn't let it
Mhm.
Yeah.
appear.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right, interesting. And I
But I
also
can't tell you based on her personality what it would be.
because she's a wet blanket this way. But I also feel like she villainized the aunts with no grounding. It's like, oh, the aunts, they never wanted us there, and I never wanted to return, or she was scared to like be there or something. She was kind of making it seem like they were like didn't want her around. Yet you stayed there to make it your marital home when you brought your mans in this house and had a whole family living up in the aunt's house, even though you were so scared that they didn't want you and stuff around. Like, girl,
Mhm.
which one is it? It can't be both. She
Yeah.
And then
villainized.
the way the aunts took care of her kids when she was going through the grief. So
Yes.
so when she finally like comes back to like talking again and is like coming out of that depression, and she's like, I gotta take my kids and I have to get on somewhere else so that I can like get back to raising them. I could understand that, but it was her commentary on the aunts, like letting them eat candy all the time and letting them stay up to it late and basically not having a routine. I'm like, well, they are also grieving, and they're also very old, and they're taking
Mhm.
care of two young children and trying to figure out how to also help you through your depression and your
Mhm.
grief. So honestly, you just got to take what you can get. Like, if
Yeah.
that's how they can keep your kids alive, then you can't simultaneously complain about that, because it is them doing that that has allowed you to heal enough to talk again, get in the car, and then drive off to a new life. So I didn't
Mhm.
like that. I thought that she was too hard on them with that, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, and you know they love you. You know they love you. They love your kids. They're not mistreating them, and they love you too. So that should be enough, really, for two old women who
2
raised you
old
too.
women, and they came got on the train all the way at the end of the book to help them get rid of this Jimmy
Mhm.
situation. Like,
That
that's the book you asked
if
for.
I were the aunts, I would have been mad about that. So,
They
my
were
Yes.
not
mom told me
surprised
they wanted
either.
my magic, and now I gotta
They were
suffer.
not surprised, and they had a spell and recipe ready to go for
Ready to
this.
go.
It
Yes,
stood out to
yes.
me. I will say, as far as raising the girls, they really did their part with that, especially with a bedridden, catatonic mother in
Mm.
there.
Mhm.
Um, that said, they were not the best caretakers, and they definitely lent to this rivalry that the
Okay.
daughters had brewing in the
That's
beginnings.
true.
Yeah.
But I
Oh yeah,
will
because she
say,
did say that. She said that
yeah,
they really favored Antonia.
But I think that
yeah.
was because they knew Kylie had some sight, right? She had the powers, but Antonia wasn't showing like she was going to get it. So maybe they trying to, make Antonia feel better for not having any sort of
Okay.
ability. I don't.
Or
That's
maybe
how.
they were
Oh,
trying
I
to
didn't think
foster
about that.
something in
Yeah.
Antonia. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense then.
That does, yeah. I didn't think
So
about that. Okay.
justice for the aunts, girls. That's what I got to say about it. Justice for the aunts.
Ah!
And when we got the tea where one of the aunts was supposed to be so beautiful, she had two men going crazy for him that they
Yeah.
both got struck by lightning.
Yes.
What's the
I
theme of
love
lightning in this book? All the men were getting struck by lightning one time or another. Really
that.
interesting stuff.
I
But
was like, I love the mysticism around like lightning and the weather, and that they had this storm happening, and then
mhm,
the mysticism with the garden, and once they
mhm,
buried Jimmy and the flowers and all that, like that part of like magic is so appealing to me, because it's supposed to be like this uncontrollable thing, and
Mhm.
somewhere the magic of nature is like really pushing through, and like supernatural things are happening that
yeah,
are beyond our control. Weather is beyond our control. How
mhm,
plants grow, we can foster, like we can take care of them and nurture them, but it's beyond our control ultimately. I thought that was so cool, and it really lent to that. It upped the magic factor of this book.
mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, that's it.
I do have a
No.
couple other questions I wanted to ask you guys. Um, Outside of did Sally have magic? So the thing with Jimmy and his spirit haunting the house, right? Um, with the Jillian and Sally coming to like this huge argument at one point in the home. Kylie mentioned something about, oh, well, don't do that because that's what he wants you to do, right? Talking about Jimmy,
Mhm.
the spirit of Jimmy. And later in the book, Kylie herself started to become like a little more like agitated, or she started like playing pranks and stuff on Jillian, and like,
Mhm.
making her stink and do all this other stuff, right?
Oh yeah,
And
when Jillian was dating when
yeah,
she
Ben,
started dating
the
that
teacher.
teacher, yeah.
Uh-huh. So she mentioned that was because she was jealous that Jillian was, showing a lot of her attention to Ben. But do you think potentially that it's any sort of like influence that Jimmy had over her at that time? Because she was the one who could see him. And he had something going on in that house where he was creating this spirit of disruption. Do you guys think
Mhm.
that has
I
anything to do
could
with it?
I could see that, because I honestly was kind of waiting for him to possess,
Uh-huh.
and maybe some of that spite. Maybe his spite, the spiteful spirit, came through with that. But yeah, it wasn't truly defined as a possession,
Mhm.
just with like a little tampering of
Yeah, a little
the
influence.
relationship. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I
Mhm.
could see that definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, it was definitely giving like that. The way that it was described was giving like the Like the part we were just talking about the Harry Potter movies. The part in the Harry Potter movies where like all three, like, Ron, Hermione, and Harry are like searching for these Horcruxes, right? And they
Yeah.
all keep, well, not Hermione because she's smarter than this, but Harry and Ron keep putting this thing on the one Horcrux, and it makes them get agitated, but they can't tell that that's what's happening, so they're like arguing with each other, whatever. But it's like
Mhm,
very subtle. That's what it was making me feel like. It was making
mhm,
me feel like after, because Jimmy can hear everything and see what's happening. So after
mhm.
she says like, this is what he wants you to do, it makes me think that Jimmy was like, oh, that's the one then that I need to bother. So then
Yeah.
like the toad thing happened, and then
Mhm,
he's like ruining the garden, and she likes to be outside in the garden on her blanket doing whatever with her friend. And then he like the ring shows up and she puts the ring on. And so I'm
mm.
like,
I could tell.
none of that can be clean. Like all of that has to have something. And then she
Uh-huh.
started to be really irritable. And it seemed outside of her character to go so far. It seemed like she would be jealous about the lack of attention, but it's outside of her character to go so far as to
Mhm.
be like pranking everybody else, without some kind of like influence from Jimmy. And because Jimmy was like, he was like the Joker. He was like
Yeah.
particularly like Aggie. And so she was doing Aggie things. And I'm like, oh, that's so giving Jimmy. That's what I thought. I thought like the ring, this whole thing, it was like Horcruxy to me.
And I wanted to ask, which do you feel did it best? Like, which do you prefer, the book or the movie, ladies?
Oh, the book for me for sure.
The book? Okay. Okay.
Because the book was much darker in ways that the movie wasn't. The movie was just very there was tension, but not as much as it was in the book. And so
Okay.
when I watched the movie, I was like, this is cute. I like it a lot. And then I moved on. I've only ever watched it once. I've never watched again.
Okay.
But
Uh-huh.
this book I would read again. And so because I
Okay.
love the character development.
All right. E, what did you think?
Oh, I have to say the book for the same reasons, and mostly because there's kind of the the route that the movie took was a little simplistic,
Uh-huh.
and so maybe that made it more digestible for viewers versus this book that had a lot of layers and a lot of character development.
Mhm.
Um, that really lent to the overall story. Um, and I need to know how did that whole thing go with the drugstore girl? Like,
Oh,
how did he die?
mhm.
How did she free herself? Like, what? Did
Yeah.
something with the aunts? Like, I don't know. But
Uh-huh.
yes, I'm gonna say the book definitely. The pictures that the book painted were super vivid. Although I love the casting of the movie, and
Oh,
I
Uh-huh.
so good.
love the
So
house in
good.
the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely the book for me as well.
All right. Well, speaking of the cast, for me, the book, I like the drama in the book. I like the characters that we get, like, diving into their stories. But I really like the aesthetic of the movie, and I feel like if it
Oh, it's
wasn't a
beautiful.
movie,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had that in my mind for the book, as far as like the aesthetic and things, how it looks. But
Mhm.
as far as what's um more layered, definitely the book. But I do have the cast for season two. I'm not season two, movie two. And
Oh,
I'm wondering, right, are these two ladies, are the two young girls who have yet to be named, their characters, are they going to be our Antonia and Kylie, do you think? Or
that's what
They have
your
to be.
Maisie and Joey King. I'm
yeah,
imagining their
because
ages,
but the
but they
ages
look so
doesn't add up
different from the.
from the first movie. These aren't the same
Yeah,
little girls from the first movie.
no, they
And
look so different.
they're a lot younger. I believe
Yeah, Arya
the
Stark.
yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
So one of the little girls from the first movie, I think it was Evan Rachel Wood. She's like in
Yeah.
her 40s now. And I think there was some mention how she wasn't reached out to whatever to join for season for, I keep saying for movie two. But they have these two young ladies, but I'm like, the ages don't add up. So I'm wondering, are they going to be our Kylie and Antonia? Or are they like two other
Yeah,
girls
that's
from
so
maybe
weird.
the sequel of, because there's more books in this series. I've heard online that apparently there is some nieces of Jillian and Sally. Long story. There's a brother somewhere.
A brother.
What?
Okay, this is from the tea that I'm getting online. I haven't read it. But apparently the aunts have a brother. And the brother has like children or grandchildren, which would make Sally and Jillian like their aunts in some weird
Oh,
way.
so they have to have. I'm putting so much into this. They have to have magic then, because they're the new aunts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think clearly Lee Pace, in my opinion, he's going to be our Ben. I think he's going to be our Ben Fry if they are.
He looks Benny. Yeah.
Yeah, he's giving Ben, right?
Perfect.
Yeah.
And if these two ladies are Kylie and Antonia, then that little boy on the bottom, that's going to be Scott, and the one on the left, that's going to be Gideon or whatever. The little boyfriend.
Definitely
No,
giving
I
Gideon,
want it the other way.
You want it
The
swapped.
other way?
Yes. That boy on the bottom is from what is that?
Bottom right or bottom left?
Bottom left.
Okay.
He's from
Was he in that scary movie?
Cobra Kai.
Oh, Cobra Kai.
And he-
Okay.
Okay,
So
bottom
good.
right was in something scary though, wasn't he?
Bottom right. I don't
Bottom right,
I-
was he not a villain in something?
I had to crop out their names for the sake of the picture to get
okay.
everyone to fit. But the bottom right, his name is Solly Leoyd, and the bottom left is, I can't even say this, it's XOLO Marenduela, if I'm saying that right. But I don't know how to say his first name. XO.
I'm gonna say you're saying it wrong because you said McLeod really weird.
Oh, the first guy is
Ollie.
Solly is the first name. Solly McLeod. But I have no idea who this young man is.
Oh, he's kind of hot.
Oh yeah, okay. He was in something creepy. It was the boy. No, that's not creepy. The boy in the corner.
I don't know. It sounds creepy.
I don't know none of these.
Oh, it was a bad. Yes, it's a gang. It was a gang movie, so that's scary enough. But I remember him from that. But now it's saying he's in all these other things. House of the Dragon. I don't remember seeing him in this. But
Where? Because I watched that all the time. I don't know who it's been.
I'm not.
But
I'm
anyway,
not
no.
mad at this. I'm not
Here's
mad at Solly.
Here's our cast. And I love that the aunts, the same actresses who played the aunts in the first movie, they're back.
Perfect.
So yeah, very much excited for this to come out.
But
But
When
that
does
was
this come out?
He was not alive anymore. I'm so glad to know that she is alive.
Yeah.
So good.
yeah, everyone's alive, kicking, and ready to return.
Yay.
But if you're watching, please return to us next month for next month's book review, and we will be revealing what that will be in a few days. So stay tuned. And we will see you later. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.